Let's give you a quick crash course on this engine. This is a Subaru designed and built motor with Toyota direct injection on top of it. They designate it the D4S system, and it's kind of a carryover from their Lexus lineup. So what we have is an engine here that is unique in the fact that it has 8 fuel injectors for a 4-cylinder. You have 4 port injectors, which are on top of the intake manifold, well, on the side of the intake manifold, in ports that spray fuel traditionally onto the intake valves. Underneath the intake manifold is the direct injection system that bolts directly, the fuel rails bolt directly to the top of the block and spray directly into the cylinders, hence direct injection. The goal of this video is to show you what it's like to remove the direct injectors from the fuel rail on this engine. The reason we're doing it is just simply because of the internet. There's been an ass load of requests about how to check the direct injectors on the FRS or BRZ. The word is, and there's actual cases of catastrophic engine failure from direct injector failure. The root cause is kind of unknown, but all we know is there was a TSB in Africa, of all places, for faulty ECU programming. The transient ignition tables, basically when you shift at a high RPM, it causes detonation in between those shifts, which then overheats the cylinder, etc., and then burns through the seals on the direct injectors. Now the problem is when you destroy the seals on the injectors, that cylinder starts to run lean, and over time, fuel starvation causes the cylinder to overheat, melt down, etc., and you have a seized up engine. So there's been some cases of this already. Now the problem is how do you check? That's what people want to know, and it's honestly quite a pain in the ass. So according to the service manual, this is what we're going to do. You have to pull off the intake manifold, you have to pull the port injectors out, you have to disconnect the ECU for the direct injectors. It's got its own ECU like a lot of modern cars these days. You have to pull the intake off, and then according to the service manual, you need a whole bunch of replaceable parts like O-rings, intake manifold gaskets, throttle body gaskets, and then also they recommend replacing these fuel rails, and probably because when you take them off, chances are the seals will be damaged and you don't want high pressure fuel spraying in the engine bay. So just to do this properly, according to the service manual, it's going to cost you a couple $100s in parts, and the lead time to get them is over a month right now, just to get the parts into the dealership, because there's a back order, of course. So we're going to start taking this apart. We're going to kind of show you step by step, but not really, because we need to get through this. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is the fuel system precautions, which according to the service manual is have the car cold, obviously. You're gonna pull the fuel pump fuse out of the relay box, which is a 20 amp. There's a 20 amp fuse. So you're gonna pull that out, start the car until it stalls. Pull the negative battery cable, and then put the fuse back into the fuse box and seal it back up. That will release the pressure from the system. That way when you're taking the fuel lines off, you're not having any excess dribble, which Turbowski's totally accustomed to having a little bit extra dribble in his mouth and on his back, but we don't want that with fuel in the engine bay. Next, Turbowski's pulling the negative battery cable here just to prevent any wild excitement. So what you'd be doing next is you'd be removing the actual factory air box. Well, you technically don't have to remove the factory air box, but you need to remove the actual intake tube from the air box, and then you need to disconnect the actual sound tube from it just so you can get at the intake manifold to service the direct injectors. Oh! And we're removing the tubes off the intake manifold here for the PCV line, and then the vacuum line to the brake booster, which I'm assuming that's where that's going.
This one?
This right one here. It's moving over
Yes, brake.
Okay.
That's the same when the blow-off valve thing is.
Is it?
Tied into.
Okay. disconnect map sensor. So we've disconnected the map sensor. In my case, it's this 2.5 bar, but on the normal case, it's not going to be labeled on a stock car. But yeah, disconnect this guy. Disconnect wiring harness from manifold supports. Disconnect alternator harness from manifold covers.
Done that?
Okay.
These two?
These are the two harnesses they're talking about that are connected to, this is the alternator harness, and that's the actual wiring harness that runs to the intake manifold. Remove sound generator, done. Remove ECU mount. So normally you're gonna have to probably get the sound tube out of the way, which is on a factory car over there. We don't have it because we have the supercharger kit, but you would normally get the sound tube out, just move it out of the way, and then we're gonna move to the ECU mount. Remove ECU mount from 3 bolts and carefully lower the ECU. Remove ECU mount from 2 engine bolts. Make sense?
So you gotta take this whole fucking thing out?
Yeah.
What about unplugging the ECU? Or imagine you gotta unplug it. Come on. God damn. How the fuck are you supposed to unplug that?
That's probably why they don't unplug it.
It's okay, it's not that big of a deal. So they're saying there's 3 bolts that hold this motherfucker on?
Yeah.
I only see 2. Well, your fucking catch can has to come off too.
So right now we're trying to work on getting we got the ECU off, obviously, for the injectors. Now we're trying to get this plate off, which is 2 screws. It's just kind of hidden behind all this shit here, behind the wires. Yeah, here. Oh, look at that.
Well, I was trying to pull it all. I don't want to lose the bolt.
Now you can see on the side of the engine here that the ECU cover is off for the injector driver. That's the fuel rail for the port injectors. This is the port injection rail right here. So we're gonna work on taking that off on both sides next.
Why is there only 2 fuel injectors? I thought it was a 4-cylinder. Swear to God, I feel like I lost education when I work on your fucking car.
It's actually, there's no tool.
Childproof.
You just clip it from the back side with you pinch the back of the connector, and this blue piece here, assuming this can even be seen, yes. So you pinch the back of this connector, and then it pulls out. You don't need a tool, and then it just slides off here. We're trying to push this out, but it's just a pinch method, just so you know. This is the evap line, as you can see there, for the fuel hose that you need to take off. Well, yeah, clearly you have to take off whatever brackets over there.
Yeah, how to get it out of the car though. Jesus, I gotta get this fuel line's gotta come off.
I think that's why they have you disconnect one of these lines so you get more clearance. Like this one here is the one they want you to push off.
You can, but go ahead. I ain't pushing it off.
Fucking asshole. Don't forget that's there.
Yeah, that motherfucker made a lot of room. Didn't do shit.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, but don't fucking break whatever this shit connects to. Still doesn't help me get this out.
Or maybe that was the wrong one to disconnect. Well, actually, I don't want to disconnect them both. God.
Holy shit, that one's even heavier. Now you can, there's your fuel line. You can
I'll undo that one again.
Since you're a fucking professor on the clipper.
This one's even harder to get to, bro.
Well, yeah, because one's always easy. And then they fuck with you. And so let me put this bitch upside down and watch this white.
Here, you get.
What, it was like 500 gallon an hour injectors right there. Do not forget about this one.
So Turbowski's now pulling the bolts for the intake manifold. There's a total of 6 of them. And then basically the whole entire intake manifold will release. Obviously, we also have to pull this throttle body off here first, I think, dude. Don't forget this. It needs to come off. And this heater hose as well has to pull out. I'm shooting a porno, dude, in the other room while you're doing this.
What else is on the bottom of this thing? There's fucking more hoses. No, they are like connected to the bottom of this thing. They're like snapped in and shit.
Oh, really?
Fuck. It'd be nice if we could at least get half of it off. This snap thing. Stop being a fucking pussy. Dude, stop being fucking pussy. Alright. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck.
As you can see here, one of the things is once you remove the intake manifold, you have direct access into the intake valves of the engine. So the last thing you want to do is let any shit get in there. So just plug up those holes, which Scott is a professional at doing. The guy doesn't leave any holes left unfilled, I'll tell you that. So in this case, Scott's just going to use some rags. So how was the removal of the intake manifold, Scott?
Pain in the ass.
What didn't you like about it?
That stupid evap solenoid.
Yeah.
It's tricky. But we got
But
it.
in terms of labor, how long do you, if a customer came to you and said they wanted to have this pulled off, to have the direct injectors take, how much time do you think it would actually take you?
18 hours.
18? 18 to
Easy.
20? All right. Okay, what you're looking at right now is what the engine bay looks like without the intake manifold on. And that is the direct injector fuel rail with the harness connected to it. If we pan around here, you can see there is a fuel rail that runs across from one side to the other. The high pressure fuel pump has a small line that runs around here behind the actual oil filter down into this rail. So there's really 2 fuel rails that you have to worry about. And the service manual calls for replacing both these silver fuel rails that you can see that I've just showed you as a part of the removal and reinstall. Now, do you need to do it? Considering this is a high pressure line, I would. And this makes it kind of a pain in the ass just to service this because you're always gonna have these parts every time you do this, whether you need to replace anything or not. So Scott's cracked the hose.
Here, you can loosen this one. I'm fucking retarded.
He's cracked the actual fittings on the lines, and there's no fuel spray or fuel pressure. Actually, I should probably not say that yet. This one's not done. But so far, there's no fuel pressure leaking or fuel into these fittings, so that's good.
Do you even have fucking spark plugs?
Yeah. No, I don't. I don't have spark plugs. I don't. They didn't come in. There's a back order on spark plugs as well. I'm sure I could just go directly to the manufacturer and find them, but I think they're NGKs, but not positive.
They're NGK or Denso, I'm sure. Should put champions in. Or some split fires. Man, I'm fucking hungry already.
Really? Well, now I gotta take you out to dinner too. I love this, dude. You never eat, and then the day that I come out, you're like, dude, I gotta eat 16 times. Need lobsters.
Fucking hungry. I can't get it out. Fuck, it's stuck. Corrosion. So now we gotta pull this out, yeah?
Yeah, let's pull the pull the fucking bolts, the fuel rail bolts out and just pull it straight up, supposedly. Oh, there's another connector plugged into it too.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what the I just unplugged that. I don't know why the fuck that one's got like a main connector on it. This one doesn't. That's a monster fucking bolt holding that shit in.
Oh, it's right into the fucking block.
Watch out, just in case. Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
Where's that at?
Shit, it's leaking fuel everywhere. We have the first bank of injectors out, and this is exactly what the direct injectors look like. Now on the side of these guys, which I can't turn it, of course if you turn it facing this way, just like that, you can see there's a stratified flow number on the side of the injectors. There's a number that's specific to each engine, and there's a total of 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Every injector is the same on each car. So you could have number 1 on all 4 injectors, number 2, like in our case, or number 3. So you can't order these for your car until you know these numbers off these injectors, which makes it difficult to even order them proactively until you pull them for the first time. Okay, so what we're looking at is the tip of the direct injector and the actual seals that go on it. Now this is one side, and we're going to pan over to the other one here, and you can see the difference between the seals. I don't know specifically if this seal is bad or not, but you can see it's farther down the shaft of the injector than this one is, and it may be to the point where it's scorched and moved it down. As you can see, it's questionable because the service manual says there should be no foreign matter in this lip here, and there's a lot of carbon buildup. As you can see, this is the factory seal, and there's a lot of play in this seal here. Now, is that normal? I don't know, really. Honestly, it doesn't really say in the service manual, so, but it was definitely backed down, and there was carbon buildup in here, and that could be totally normal.
It's like taking a condom off. Where's the main windows?
With the stop ring? Or the backup ring? So this is the SST tool for the direct injector seals. So what you do is you slide the seal over this guy, you slide the seal over here, you slide this little guy on top of the injector, and then you use this like a little condom. It slides on here like a condom, and then you put it over the tip of the injector, and you try to get it perfect per the service manual, which we're gonna show you here. Okay, so this is the tool, this is the injector. We've replaced all the seals on here except the main we replaced every seal on here except the main one that is the problem one. So basically what you do is you apply oil to this, and there's a bevel. This side's flat. This side's beveled. This faces up. The bevel side faces up on the injector. So once you put a little bit of oil in here, you slide it over the injector. My hands are all fucking dirty. I guess it really doesn't matter. The service manual states to put oil on the inner periphery. There's some real fancy words, which is really hard to get it in there, to be frank. Looks like I need an SST tool to get the oil on the inner periphery.
Q-tip. Well, how much do I got? 235?
240,
Oh, 240.
but at the
240
wheels.
stock.
So this is where it gets dicey. This is the seal that you put on this tip, and you slide it down carefully, and according to the service manual, you do not want to fuck this up. You want it to be perfectly level as you slide it down, and these guys are super sensitive. It's almost like I should put oil on here.
We would think.
It doesn't say to use oil, but you can see the issue is I'm using my fingernails to kind of push this on, and they want it to be perfectly level around this end, so when you pop it on, it's good. But I'm just using my fingernail, and I'm already kind of indenting the seal as I'm pushing. Now, obviously, you wouldn't have to do this if you bought the injectors. Okay, so if you bought the injectors, they would come loaded with these seals. Now, the issue is how the fuck are you supposed to order the injectors without pulling them off first? So it's almost like, since I don't have scorched injectors, if I have it out, why would I take it out twice? So this is the negative part about doing this. Okay, so the seal is on, as you can see here. Okay, so now we have the seal on the fucking little SST holder. Scott's holding the actual SST ring with the bevel up. So now technically, according to the service manual, I just have to move this seal down onto the injector itself. So now I just continue this annoying process of sliding the seal off.
Pushing on my SST.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my God.
Okay, now pull it up. All right. Oh, Jesus. You fucking kidding me?
Things like loose as a fucking...
Well, that's the purpose of this tool, is to fucking pull it up over it. So you can see now the seal is on here, but it's super fucking loose. Like a butthole. After Scott's done with it.
Just gonna pull the seal right the fuck off.
So Scott pointed this out. You need to hold this down. But you also need to make sure that before you pull this bastard up, that seal is on there per the instructions.
Jeez.
I ruined it. Fucked it up, look. Okay, so the first one, not a success. It pinched.
Fuck, this sucks without having fucking...
So after you push the seal down, you can see here, this is the SST guide. This seal's really sloppy around here. I think I would give it a minute or two to let it settle after being pulled off and stretched. It seems to help the more time you give it to settle back on that ring, the easier it is, because now it's a little bit stretched out from going down this tool. So what you want to do is start to pull this up with this cap on, and you want to wiggle this around the seal until you get a kind of as much of an even centered part into that SST tool on the bottom, because if you get that at all off center, and you can kind of see in the camera here, getting it off center could be the difference between crushing the seal on the lip and destroying it, or getting a good press. So I'm just going around methodically, kind of pushing at an angle here. And I know what you're looking at right now is the beauty of my knuckles, because these knuckles are probably going to be all on Pedraza's or Turbowski's fucking dong after this.
You better go get that chick from the restaurant.
Yeah, no shit.
She's dressed perfectly to be a flag girl.
Yeah, no shit. She should come over here and push on fucking tips. The service manual doesn't really state this, but I think the more oil you put in this tool, the fucking easier it is. Because this time I lubed the shit out of this fucker. And now it seems to be going a lot easier. I can actually back it off the seal as well a little bit more than before, but once you get that, you can see how the seal's now in kind of the center of that tool. Now you're kind of in that area where you're just gambling, waiting to see if you won the lottery or not. This tool is not going to slide past this cap, so it's kind of just like the guide to get the seal on. But once you get this tool up to a certain point, you're pretty much just doing guesswork whether you're pinching the seal on the edge or not. And that's really the scariest part of this, is I'm just really pushing carefully around the edges, hoping I'm not going to script the seal as I pop it over. Did you fuck it up or not? I didn't. Okay, so I just finished this seal here, and this one I spent about 20 minutes on, and it's basically perfect. As perfect as you're gonna get it. Now, this is just from experience of doing this, so I'm sure if I do more, which I'm not gonna do because I really don't think that they need to be done, but I need to find out from Toyota if they do need to be done or not, so bottom or top, but there is play on these seals, which originally when we took these out, I'm like, hey, look at all the carbon buildup in there, but apparently that's normal. So basically I did this for nothing, but it's a good learning lesson. Those are the injectors with the new seals in the rail. Let's see if it works. All right, Turbowski's reconnecting the fuel rails for the direct injectors. What's wrong? Came out? Yep. The holders?
Fell out.
Here, hold this.
Okay. Or do I push it down on top of it and pull that fucker back out?
That one. Of course, it's in there. Fucking this loom. Here, just pull it out if you can. Oh, the connector's on it? Yeah. Hold on a second. Here, give me this. So Turbowski, we're putting everything back together. Turbowski's using his torque wrench.
Make sure it's 4.5 pounds.
We're using 4.5 pounds of torques on the fuel rail to the direct injectors. There's two fuel rails. There's a mini and a large. As you can see in the overhead shots, the difference between the two. The connectors have been put back in. Turbowski's gonna tighten down the fuel lines, and we're gonna continue the intake manifold.
How tight were these? Fucking memorize this shit. God. Oh, the same as the other one, so tight. I just don't want a fucking fuel leak, you know? And there's no way to check it until it's all together. This is gonna suck. Well, you're gonna have to go back on this side, because I'm gonna have to bolt that fucker. Oh my God, all these fucking, like this wire, this one went around the back. Well, I guess, fuck. And this has to be in a perfect fucking spot to go to the injectors. And fuck, I don't remember, let go. I don't remember exactly where that's at. Because it's got to line up perfect with the injectors. Once this shit's all down. Well, I guess, where the fuck did this other end of this tube go? Whatever, we'll figure it out. That's probably why this is here. You can leave this on.
Right, so you can start this bolt.
Yeah. That's the easy one to get to. Shit, that one, you don't have these fucking wires. Ugh. You can't fit two fucking fingers down here.
How'd you get them off? With the impact?
Yeah, I loosened with impact. I got
Holy shit.
Oh God, there's nothing like a good bubble bath with a friend. You know, when Turbowski was scrubbing my back, something hit me, literally. There is not enough information in the service manual to determine what's normal and not with these seals. So what I've done is I contacted Toyota for clarification. How much deflection is okay from that seal moving down the tip? How much carbon buildup is normal? That's the first question. The second question becomes, what and when do you check these seals for damage? So if you're running a stock car and you're under warranty, just keep an eye out for symptoms. Popping noise, an explosive sound from the engine bay. And that would happen under throttle, more than likely a quick stab of the throttle, or when you're maxing out the fuel load on those injectors. As fuel seeps out of that chamber, it's gonna pop outside the cylinder. You would hear this, if you have a bad seal, you'll hear this all the time. It's not something that's gonna come and go. The other thing that you'll have is an erratic idle, weird idling situation. Again, it's not gonna come and go. If the seal's gone or bad, it's gonna do it all the time. If you're doing an aftermarket solution with a lot of horsepower, a lot of advanced timing, pull those injectors and cover your ass, investigate the seals, and just make sure you know what the stratified flow number is on the injectors in case you have to replace them. Potential failure is right from the factory. If the seals were improperly installed right from the factory, they're probably going to melt down if there's any damage to them. They're super soft. You can basically destroy them with a fingernail. That's how soft they are. And it's just a wise move if you're out of warranty to check that. So that's where I'm at right now. As soon as I get more answers from Toyota or Subaru about what's normal deflection, I'll follow up. So the last thing is FSI injectors and GDI injectors, which is Hyundai's direct injector. The last thing is Hyundai's direct injectors and Audi/VW's direct injectors. FSI and GDI. Their injectors have Teflon seals much like the Toyota. The difference is the body of the injector. The Toyota's injector has a bevel on it where that seal could technically blow down and slide down the shaft. The Hyundai injectors and Audi injectors do not have that bevel. They are flat. That seal cannot move down. However, there is a little bit of play in the seals on those injectors, so that play might be normal, but the ability for the seal to slide down only exists so far on the investigation I've done on the Toyota injector. I don't know why they designed it that way. They had to have a reason. These are expensive to manufacture and design, so clearly they had a reason, and hopefully I'll get clarification on that as time goes on.